Greetings, Patrick here. 31 Days of Halloween, day 17. Wow, okay, we're rocking and rolling. Yeah, I had to hurry up and get this one in because I'm falling up behind a little bit. Today is actually the 20th of September, so I am dashing. Um, I stayed up really late last night to watch this movie. I really wanted to see it, so when I was at the library yesterday, I checked it out. I'm hoping to get a copy of it when it rolls down, but I didn't want to wait for it, so I decided to watch and watch it. And the movie we'll be talking about today is from, I believe, this year already. And I know a rare movie from this year, calendar year. Shocked. The movie we're going to be talking about today is The Pope's Exorcist. So this is a 2023 film released by Sony Pictures. It's directed by Julius Avery and written by Michael Pratoni and Evan. Oh gosh, I can't even pronounce his name. I don't even. It is based off. This is based off a true story of the famous exorcist Father Gabriele Amorth, who claimed he had done 160,000 exorcisms. Okay, more on that later. Okay, so this is I was really excited to see this. To tell you the truth, of course, this one stars Russell Crowe as Father Amorth, a young actor Daniel Zavato as Father Escobar, our good friend Sean Kane, his one of his favorite actresses, Alex Esso, plays Julia Vasquez. Franco Nero, this must be one of his last roles before he passed, but he plays the Pope. Does a good job too. Laura Marston plays Amy Vasquez, and Peter de Sousa Fajoni plays Henry Vasquez. So the movie opens up, and Father Amorth is headed in for a potential exorcism. He gets there and he asks some questions. The priest is there saying he's showing all the signs of demon possession, and including speaking English when he's never spoken English before. And of course, Father Amorth says, "Does the family own a TV?" And of course they do. So he already knows right then and there that what he's facing, he's not going to be facing any possession. He's going to be facing somebody who's troubled and disturbed. And so he gets in there, and sure enough, they have the young man tied down, and instantly he starts talking. As soon as he starts talking, it sounds like he's reciting lines from any one of possession movies. I am Legion. They always say that. So Father Amorth goes ahead, and he says, "Well, if you're Satan, and then you know who I am. So tell me my name." And of course he can't because he's not possessed. But of course he thinks that he is. So and Father Amorth, he goes through it, but then he baits the young man into saying that if his demon can, if he's all that powerful, then he should be able to possess a pig. And so when the pig starts making a lot of noise, because all the shouting and everything else, so the pig's getting excited, but he's causing noise. But it does look like the pig does get possessed, and then the other father shoots it. There's no possession, but what he did was he used psychology to help the young man, escape that feeling that he was possessed, and he turned him over to a competent psychiatrist for help. He then goes back to the Vatican, and he is called into a council meeting, and Cardinal Sullivan is after his head. He wants to know why he did this exorcism, and there was no signs, there's no requests. He's just he doesn't like that Father Amorth basically gets the run of the Vatican. because he is the Pope's exorcist. And Father Amorth basically says, hey, if you don't like what I'm doing or how I'm doing it, you can go talk to the person who appointed me to this position, and that's my bishop. And his bishop is now the Pope. So Cardinal Sullivan runs into a harsh wall there. Meanwhile, in Spain, we see that the young Vasquez family is, they have inherited this humongous monastery. Doesn't really explain how it happened. It just says, this is all your father left us, as Julia Vasquez comes with her two young kids, teenager Amy and a young man named Henry. Of course, Amy is a rebellious teenager, and Henry is he saw his father die in a car crash. His father was impaled, and he saw that, so that has stricken him mute. So he has not talked since that's happened. So they get into the this huge monastery. It's a beautiful building too in Spain. And they start working. They start working on building it. So they're gonna go in there, repair it, and then turn around and sell it. So they can have so because they're broke. Of course, as soon as they put their feet inside the monastery, Saint Sebastian, things go terribly wrong. Manifestations start appearing, and an accident causes one of the workers to be severely hurt, and they all quit. They think that the monastery is possessed or haunted. So they all leave, and then sure enough, Henry gets possessed. He gets possessed by a demon, and of course they go through all the tests and everything else. They run through in record time, by the way. And I was wondering, how did they get the money to do that? I don't know. They were broke. I was wondering how they got it. But anyway, they ran Henry through all these tests, and yeah, there's nothing wrong with him, of course. And so they don't know what to do, and they decide to go ahead and have Father Escobel go ahead and maybe go in there and see what he can do. Maybe he can, he doesn't really, he's not an exorcist, he's not trained as an exorcist, but he says he'll go in there and he'll try to see what's going on. Well, he gets booted out of the room, and Henry, who's only about 8 or 9, maybe 10, he's full on possessed, and he yells, "Bring me the priest!" And then when they do bring him Father Escobel, they say, "Bring me the wrong priest." when he gets kicked out, says, "Bring me the right priest." So back at the Vatican, the Pope is really sick, and but he still calls Gabriele in to him and says, "Listen, I've heard a disturbing story in Spain about this, about San Sebastian, and a young boy is possessed there. Not only do I want you to handle the exorcism of this young boy, but be very careful, because we've had trouble. The church has had trouble with San Sebastian before. So he says, be careful." Now Father Amorth is shown in this movie as being a very good priest, but he does have this pride, and it shows that he feels like he basically feels like he's invincible. He goes through a lot of these exorcisms. He's not really, it's like more like going through the motions. 98%, he says, 98% of all possessions are mentally ill patients, and 2% are truly evil. So he travels to San Sebastian, and he meets Father Escobel, and so they go ahead, and Father Amorth sees Henry, and of course he goes through his thing again. Are you truly possessed? Oh, he does look like it, and but he wants to make sure. He says, "Well, tell me your name." He says, tell me your name, tell me your demonic name, um, and or if you really are who you say you are, what's my name? That's his test. Well, the demon says, I'm not going to tell you my name, but I will tell you yours, and he does, and he also tells Father Amorth about his inner fears, his weaknesses. He's haunted by the past, where he feels like he committed an act of cowardice, which he didn't, but he feels like it, so it weakens him. Father Escabel also has his weakness is that he likes to tap the young ladies in his church. Not a good thing, but at least they're all over 18. One would hope. So the two priests they come together and they have to battle this demon, and they find out that San Sebastian is home of a horrible, horrible secret. Um, and in order it's going to take a lot to defeat this demon. Um, and and that leads to an exciting finish down in the basement, so to speak. Um, yeah, so the Pope's Exorcist. It's a lot of fun. First and foremost, it's a lot of fun. I couldn't understand. I didn't think this says. It says here the Exorcist meets the Da Vinci Code. I, there's no Da Vinci Code here. I mean, there's just there's just a couple of old books. It's just a straight possession film, but it's a lot of fun. I mean, that's basically due to Russell Crowe. He really sinks his teeth into the role as Father Amorth, and we see the change of a man who basically has been coasting. He's basically got a really cushy job, because he's not really encountering any true force of evil here. And so when it does happen to him, and it does happen to him in a harsh way, he really is unprepared. He's just not ready for this. Even though he's been doing it for 30 years at this point, he's not really ready for this, and he finds that out. And so, and of course, the young father assisting him, he has his own demons to deal with, and he's never been trained as an exorcist at all, so he's gonna do what he can to help Father Amorth. Um, I thought the story was interesting, really interesting actually. They blamed the Spanish Inquisition, which saw the Catholic Church murder millions of people, um, and the Catholic Church murdered millions. Um, they truly were the first Holocaust on the planet, but they killed millions of people, um, horribly. And credit to the movie for showing some of the implements of that torture. There are some instruments down there, including I think they called it a. Uh, well, you saw it on Sleepy Hollow. It's a device where you open it up and it has spikes in it. Well, you basically put a person in there and shut it, and they get impaled, but they don't die right away. It's a horror, and they're forced to stand up. It was a horrible device, and it was one of many the Catholic Church came up with torturing people. I thought the storyline was rather bold too, for actually acknowledging that, saying that the Spanish Inquisition was basically done by a demon possessed pope. Yeah, they got that right. They got that. I would actually agree with that. Um, but I thought it was a pretty daring story. Being someone who studied that, I was really surprised to see that they went that way. So I gave the story a big thumbs up. The only thing I probably didn't like about the movie was I didn't like the end of it. The it was a little cliche, and it's something we've already seen before. And without giving anything away, if you've seen The Right with Anthony Hopkins, you'll know where this is going. Otherwise though, the story was fine. Um, Probably the Vasquez family. I have to say the makeup for this movie was outstanding. The possession, Henry being possessed, wow, really freaky, really well done. The effects were outstanding, on point. Um, so I'll give that. Plus the rest of the cast was solid as well. Didn't have really much to do in actuality. Could have been more involved, but for what it was, yeah. Um, Pope Exorcist is rated R. It has a couple of special features on it, including meeting the real Father Amorth, who passed away in 2016. And yeah, you can get this anywhere, anytime right now. It just got released, and I recommend it. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. Um, that's it for day 17 of 31 Days of Halloween. Thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, please consider giving us a sub below. Leave a comment down below. Let us know your favorite possession movie outside The Exorcist. So not The Exorcist, but what movie other than that, possession, supernatural horror, is your favorite? Leave it in the comments, and we'll talk at you soon. Peace.